What's up, guys, and welcome back to another episode of the Fight Day MMA Show. I am your host, Kalen Nero, with my main man, Kanan Sonye, who is not the Pick'em King this week. I'm just going to put that out there first things first. Again, guys, so I wanted to bring this up. Sorry we're kind of coming at y'all late with this post-fight analysis. Me and Kanan have both been busy with work, so it's been kind of hard for us to be able to sit down and really record this. So I just wanted to let you guys know that and that we're sorry about that. And we're going to try and make it to where we can kind of get a better schedule going to make sure that we keep getting this content out to y'all as fast as we can. But like we said, this is just a secondary thing for us, a passion project. So sometimes life gets in the way, and we really want to apologize for that, guys. So just bear with us. We'll always try and make sure that we get the content back out to you guys. But like I said, things came up. So this is us getting it to you as fast as we could. So... Alrighty, guys, so let's talk about the fights, man. So this is UFC Fight Night 175, Shahbazyan versus Brunson. Pretty good card, man. It had a lot of action, really good fights throughout the night. I was kind of upset whenever we missed out on that first fight in the main card. But, I mean, we're going to talk about that. So the first fight on the main card was Kevin Holland versus Trevin Giles. And Giles didn't make the walk, man. He fainted in the back, and he said he wanted to fight. But the athletic commission wouldn't clear him to fight. Obviously, he just fainted right before the fight. I think it was best to call the fight off. I give it to Giles for wanting to make the walk still. I think he just really got nervous because Kevin Holland was probably the biggest step up in competition he had in his career. And Kevin Holland was calling out Gerald Meerschaert from the undercard, saying that I know you made weight and your guy fell out, so why don't we fight? And Dana White was like, nah, I'm not going to be able to do that at the night of the fight, but that would have been awesome. But yeah, man.
Well, Kevin Holland is on the undercard this weekend. I saw when I was looking at the fights. So, I mean, it sucks that he had to miss out on this one, but he's back for this weekend on the undercard. So,
is he fighting Gerald Meerschaert or is he fighting someone else?
I did not look who he was fighting.
I wouldn't be surprised if they didn't make that fight happen. That's a good fight to me. I think it'll probably be the catchweight, though. I think Meerschaert's a light heavyweight and he's a middleweight. But we'll have to see. All right, so I think Kevin Holland still would have won that fight. He got the TKO before the fight even started, man. It just shows him how good he is. He got the knockout, the fastest knockout in UFC history, huh?
Bruh. I mean, you text me out. He knocked him out before he got in the cage. And I was like, man, what happened? And I look up, and homie didn't make it. And looking at it now, Kevin Holland is fighting Joaquin Buckley?
I don't know, man. But yeah, well, good for Kevin. I'm glad he's at least getting the fight. You know, that really hurts him if they're not able to fight. I don't know how that works for their contract. I'm sure they get their show money, but anyway. On to the next fight. We had Lando Renato versus Bobby Green. This fight basically went how we kind of expected it to, where they both stood and banged the whole time. It's definitely this one fight of the night, which I didn't pick. I picked the Vicente Luque fight to win fight of the night beforehand, but I can definitely see how this one won fight of the night. Bobby Green was magnificent. Renato did pretty well on the feet, but Bobby Green was just faster. The reach advantage kind of played into his favor. And like I said, Green's ground game was good enough that if Renato was going to try to do anything, he wasn't going to be able to get it done. And that showed a little bit with Green being able to take Renato down a few times, and Renato almost catching him in a guillotine at one point in the fight.
Man, you saw that they the first round they were exchanging early, and it looked like Bobby Green got the better of those exchanges, as the scorecard shows. He had him winning every round. The second round, Bobby Green came out still looking sharp. Renato had a few big moments. He had a head kick. He had a guillotine attempt. And then the third round was all Bobby Green. I had this round 10-8. You disagree with me. One of the judges agreed with me on this round. And he started catching him in the clinch with those knees and then hit him with an elbow, bro. I was freaking out about that elbow because it was just –
that was a hell elbow.
It was precise. It was pinpoint. It was accurate.
It's the best whenever you catch this part of the forearm right across their chin, because it just puts them to sleep.
Bro, he put him down with that elbow, and I mean he finished off the round with 2 submission attempts and a takedown. But that elbow, I was freaking out because it just was so pinpoint. Like he hit him with several clinch knees. Every time he come in, clinch knee, and then all of a sudden this elbow came out from nowhere.
Yeah, Lando didn't do a very good job of fighting the tie clinch at all. I think he was just exhausted, man. He got punt. Bobby Green's jab was amazing all night. He just kept popping him with the jab. Like Lando couldn't get any offense off because every time he tried to step in to make any type of offense, Bobby just had a jab in his face. Bam. Like, just annoying. And then he started hitting him. He started letting his hands go in the second and third round. He really started hurting Lando. And whenever he dropped him with that elbow in the third round, I mean, props to Lando. Lando got a jaw because
He got up.
he got up. And I mean, not many guys would have got up after that elbow. Bobby Green's having a resurgence, man. I don't see a title picture for him at all. But I definitely think he's going to kind of get into that spot where he might start getting into that top 15, top 10 talk and maybe become one of those older guys who are your gatekeepers like your Donald Cerrone's and your Jeremy Stevens type or even your Jim Millers. I mean, I think Jim Miller's on like a 5-fight win streak right now or something like that. So, yeah, old guys are showing some new tricks, man. I like it. They're evolving with the game. On to our next fight, we had Vicente Luque versus Randy Brown. This was a barn burner because Randy Brown was big, like really big. I knew he was 6'3" coming in. He did look thick. You said he looked thicker than Vicente, maybe in his upper body, not his lower body. He kind of looked like John Jones in the lower body, them skinny legs. But he was cut, and it was a good back and forth fight, man. Randy Brown really tested him with the kicks, really, and Vicente did an amazing job. And with anybody who is trying to stop someone with a longer reach from jabbing you to death, kick the crap out of the front leg. That's what Vicente Luque did. He just kept kicking the front leg, slowing him down to the point where he couldn't get the jab off, where he was scared to throw the jab because he knew if he threw that jab, that leg kick was coming in return. So he got away from the jab, and that's when Vicente Luque was really able to use his boxing and get inside and just start hitting him with bombs. I mean, he dropped him in the first, and I'm pretty sure he dropped him in the second. And I mean, Vicente Luque throws bombs, dude. And I don't know why he's not ranked higher in welterweight. I mean, number 12 just seems not right for him. He's definitely a top 10 guy, in my opinion, at a minimum. I mean, he's only lost to the top guys, and I don't know, man. He outclassed Brown in a way. Brown showed a lot of promise because, I mean, I'm pretty sure Brown's only in 27 or 28. So he still has a lot of fighting left in him. And, I mean, he did okay against such a high-level guy like Luque. But, I mean, Luque's just... he's good, man. Really good.
I think Luque came in and did what we thought he would do for the most part. He came in, he dropped him in the first round with a right hand. He dropped him in the second round with a calf kick. But Randy Brown, he definitely showed that he's definitely someone to watch out for because he used his range really well. He was picking him apart from distance, and he was doing everything he could. And in the second round, into the first round, it looked like Luque was tired. It looked like Randy was wearing on him. He was tired. Randy Brown took him down in the second round, and then as they were getting up there in the clinch against the cage, and that's when he got kneed in the mouth. I'm like, man, if I'm Randy Brown, my hands are on the mat. My hands are on the ground. You can't knee me in the face.
That's where he screwed up. So if I was Randy Brown's coach, we'd be working this the next day in the gym. Never reach for the ground. Just drop to a knee. Just drop to a knee and you're grounded. All he had to do was just hurry up and drop to a knee. He tried to reach for the ground, and Luque, the genius he is, literally grabbed his head, picked him up to where his hands couldn't reach the ground, and just fed him a knee. That was genius. That was absolutely genius. But it was stupid on Randy Brown's part, And I mean, anybody who gets that knee is gonna probably go to sleep. So bro, I can't knock Randy Brown's chin at all. Randy Brown showed a lot of high intensity in the first and second round. He was really good about trying to move in and out. But like I said, with the longer, lankier guys like Randy, they like to work off the jab, as they should. Try and work the jab to where the guys can't get inside on you. But he didn't do a very good job of trying to check Vicente's leg kicks. And eventually, like you said, he ended up getting dropped from a leg kick in the second round. And so those things wear on you. And if he'd have done a better job of checking the leg kicks, potentially circling away from his lead leg, maybe trying to work in a hook or just lead with the straight right instead of trying to work off the jab. He'd have had a little bit more success. But I mean, I think he could have definitely out grappled Luque if he'd have just came out with that mentality of wrestling the whole fight. You know.
Well, yeah, he took him down in the third before they got back up and that knee happened. But man, that I can't get over that knee. When that knee happened, it was like he curb stomped his knee. His hands would have curved, his head was right there, and his knee just.
And then he fed him a few more shots, and I was like, oh man, those aren't necessary. But I mean, it
You
wasn't the ref's fault. He just couldn't get there in time.
Luque got the performance of the night for that one, which he deserved. That knee was
Absolutely
serious.
Absolutely. Alrighty, guys. So on to our co-main event of the evening. Cannon, you want to break this one down, buddy?
Man, I had Calderwood. I mean, she was looking good, bro. She started off, she was throwing, she was landing. She caught a kick by Maya and took her down, and that's where she messed up. I called it in the pre-fight. I said that for Maya to win this fight, they had to be on the ground, but Maya never doesn't take people down. Calderwood made the mistake of taking her down, and that's where she lost the fight. It happened. I wouldn't have predicted Calderwood trying to take her down. I said this fight wasn't going to go to the ground because Maya doesn't shoot. But we knew that she likes submissions. We knew she's good at jiu-jitsu. And I would not expect somebody who knows that their opponent is good at jiu-jitsu to take them down like that. I'm not with it.
Well,
but she got armbarred, and it was her title shot. Her title hopes are diminished.
Valentina already said, "I'll see you later, Jennifer Maya." So I think this was kind of the reverse psychology of whenever we see a wrestler knock out someone, and a wrestler goes in there and they punch someone, they knock them out, then all of a sudden they're a boxer. They get away from what got them to the dance, you know. Well, Calderwood's coming off of a submission win not very long ago. She's been working her BJJ out there in Scotland, or I think she's with SBG Ireland. But she's been working her jiu-jitsu out there. She got a win by submission in one of her last fights, and I think she fell in love with the idea that I'm a well-rounded fighter. You know, I can go and compete with anybody on the ground. And I mean, that's the mentality you want to have. I will say that if you're going to be a championship level fighter, you want to have the mentality that I can compete with anybody anywhere. But you also have to know where your strengths lie. I mean, with Israel Adesanya versus Yoel Romero, Izzy knew I'm not going to beat Yoel in a firefight, and I'm not going to beat Yoel out grappling him. So I'm going to make this a point kickboxing fight. It was boring, but he knew he played to his strengths. That's what champions do. Calderwood showed us that she's not mature enough mentally yet to be that championship fighter. She went and she took down Maya, who she knew damn well she didn't have any business being on the ground with. And it's like I said that I think Calderwood was going to get taken down, which she didn't. She ended up taking Maya down. But I knew that if it ended up on the ground in the first two rounds, that Maya was going to be able to get a hold of her and choke her out or hit her with some type of submission. And essentially what happened, she took her. I mean, it was a good first round for Calderwood. Calderwood was really beating her on the feet. Maya showed a little bit of promise. Like I said, with her Muay Thai, she did a good job kind of kicking the leg, working the jab a little bit. But Calderwood was obviously just swarming her, which was the good thing to do. And she decided to take her down. And she caught one of Maya's body kicks, I believe, and took her down. I mean, anybody does that, especially with 30 seconds in the round, you know, roughly, or like a minute left in the round. Why not take them down, try to steal the round, if anything, you know? So I can't say I blame Calderwood completely, but you got to understand, once you get on the ground, you kind of start feeling yourself like, oh, okay, maybe I don't know as much as this girl here. Get up, you know? Try and work your way up. She continued to try and work her way, like try to ground and pound this girl, as this girl is constantly playing for triangles or playing for the armbar. And I just don't think she saw it coming. And whenever she got her with the armbar, she didn't get it at first, and it made me nervous because her hand kind of slipped, but then she was able to get it and kind of torque it across her hip. And once that happened, I knew she was going to tap. And Calderwood screwed up big time in this fight, but I think she still has a future, like a championship future. Or I don't think anyone's going to beat Valentina, but I think she has a chance to get to that point again where she'll get the fight with Valentina. And in this division, it's not very stacked. Maybe one or two more wins and she'll get there.
Valentina's just knocking out everybody.
Yeah.
It's like, all right, next.
But Maya's going to actually be okay on the ground with Valentina, which not many people can say because Valentina's so well-rounded. But, I mean, like I said, Maya's going to probably get demolished by Valentina just on the feet.
Well, I think Valentina's smart enough not to take the fight to the ground if she feels uncomfortable enough not to be on the ground.
All right, Maya's one of the best women jiu-jitsu players in the UFC. I will say that.
I agree.
Alrighty, so on to the main event of the evening,
Big wrong
where
predictions.
we were both wrong, and
We talked this fight up so bad too.
oh yeah, yeah. I was excited for Edmund, man, but I think he let the moment get to him. I think he was nervous, and we knew he hadn't been out of the first round, but once in his career, and
We should look at that. That was his last fight.
in that one fight, he went to the third round. He out wrestled the other guy. Well, he's not going to go in there and out wrestle Derek Brunson. There's not many people who can go in there and out wrestle Derek Brunson. Derek Brunson is a very good wrestler. And I mean, dude, Brunson looks different from since he's joined Henry Hoof's gym in South Florida. And I'm not saying title picture or anything soon, but 1 or 2 more wins, I could see Derek Brunson getting his title shot, And he's patient. See, what I expected was Derek Brunson was going to come out reckless in the first round of the old Derek Brunson. Derek Brunson 3 or 4 fights ago, where Derek Brunson comes out and just tries to knock you out in the first round because he's that explosive guy. And I thought Edmund was going to be able to capitalize on it much like Izzy did. Well, apparently after Derek Brunson got mollywopped by Izzy, he decided to change gyms, which was probably smart. And he's become a lot more mature in his fighting style, and he really outclassed Edmund. Edmund looked tired after the first round. I think he was beat mentally. I think whenever he realized that he lost that round and saw how good Derek actually was, I think he knew that I'm not ready for this yet. I mean, we got to give it to the kid. The kid's 23 years old, 22 years old. Yeah, he's my age, And I mean, I know he's been trading since he was 10 years old, but still. Some of these guys like Derek Brunson, he might not have been in MMA for 12 years, but he had a lifelong of wrestling before that and then transferred that into MMA. Edmund's still not there overall yet, and I don't think the UFC pushed him too hard yet. I don't think they put him in that dare until conversation, or they tried to push him so dang fast and ended up giving him a loss. I just think that his coach talked him up a lot, kind of like what he did with Ronda against Holly Holm. And I think Edmund Tarverdyan is a really good coach. I do say that. But I think he gives his fighters a false sense of security that they're the best in the world. And I think he's too much of a yes man for Edmund. I think Edmund needs to go and seek training somewhere else now. Edmund's been there. Tarverdyan's been there to kind of give him the layout of what he needs to be as a martial artist. But I think it's time for him to go and start training with higher level training partners at a different gym and really get out there and start learning more than what he knows. What he knows don't get me wrong, he shouldn't forget what he learned from Tarverdyan. They got him to the dance, But I think he's so worried and focused on being all around, he's not becoming good at anything. He's kind of one of those guys where he's a jack of all trades but expert of nothing, And I think that's going to hurt him in his career. I think in your career, you really need to be good at least one thing to where you can always fall back on that. And then if you become better at other things, like Daniel, DC's an amazing wrestler. He knows he can probably out-wrestle just about anybody in the UFC. So he can go out there and box his ass off and not have to worry about getting taken down because he knows he can fall back on his wrestling.
Yep.
Israel can go out there and strike and just know that, okay, if I can make sure this guy doesn't take me down, then I'm going to beat him up on the feet, Whereas Edmund's like, okay, I'm good on the ground and I'm good on the feet, but Derek's better than me on the ground, and am I really that much better than him on the feet?
They got to weigh each other out.
Right.
Man, Brunson came in this fight, and, bro, he looked great. Everything we said about Edmund, that's how Brunson looked in this fight. Brunson was calm, cool, collected, calculated. Everything he did, he was patient.
It looked like he flustered Edmund early.
He did. He came out, and he was just landing. He secured a takedown, point scoring, and Edmund just started trying to throw that right hand, and it just wasn't working. In the second round, Brunson came out and did the same thing, set up another takedown. Edmund's just throwing for the fences, and Brunson's either eating them or he's dodging them. Mm-hmm. And then he secures another takedown, ground and pound, to the point where Herb Dean's about to step in and call his fight, but the round ends. They're looking at Edmund between the second and third round, like, can you continue this fight? They ended up letting it continue, and I mean, 26 seconds later, Brunson takes him down again and beats the living life out of him.
And that
And
was a
Herb's
thing that I
like,
wanted
yeah,
to
we
touch
call
on.
on that.
That was a thing I wanted to touch on too. I think Edmond Tarverdian really, I don't like to call coaches out, because I'm not an expert in MMA. I'm not an expert on calling fights. I'm not an expert on how to referee a fight. I'm not an expert on how to coach a fighter. But I kind of have common sense when I know my guy doesn't have it in him anymore, you know? And after what happened at the end of the second round, I don't see how Tarverdian could even allow Edmond to go out for the third round. That really made me upset when I was watching the fight, because this is a young guy who's got a lot of life left in him. He's got a lot of fight left in him. He's 22 years old. Don't let him go out there and take that extra punishment. For what? For what? He's not quitting if you throw in the towel. Just take the quit for him. Don't let if you love this guy and you've been training him since he's 10 years old, don't let him go out there and take those extra shots. Protect your guy. Now, I understand these guys. There's some guys out there who have this heart, and like Dustin Poirier. I don't care if Dustin's getting shredded by someone, which he wouldn't, but I don't care if he is. I would never throw in the towel for Dustin, because I knew Dustin's not gonna go out like that. Dustin would probably fire me. I know Dustin has that mindset, and it would all depend on how I'd read his eyes in the corner. But looking at Edmond in the corner for that fight, man, he didn't want it. He didn't want to win that fight anymore. He was ready to go home.
Well, thankful enough for Edmond is that Herb stepped in quick in that third round. Herb knew. Herb was looking at him at the end.
Herb almost caught it in the second round.
Yeah, he almost caught in the second round. But in that third round, he didn't let him eat that much. Like, he let him to where it looked like it, and Herb stopped it because Herb knew.
Right. I don't know it's the referee's job to protect the fighters, but I mean, as a coach, man, that is your job. That is your sole responsibility to protect your guy. And the fact that they would just and listening to the corner advice, he never even asked him like, "Hey, do you want to go out?" It was just, here's what you need to do. I mean, I get it. You got to get your point across about what they need to do to make it better in the fight. But there was no reason they should have had a third round in that fight, man. No reason. But hey, who am I to judge,
Yeah. So Brunson definitely made a statement out there.
Yep, he said, "I'm not a gatekeeper, man." So let's see.
That blonde hair was popping.
Yep, let's see where he goes from here, man. Alrighty, guys. So yeah, thanks for coming in, watching this one kind of late. I'm sure y'all have kind of got some post-fight analysis from somewhere else. We promise ours is better. But yeah, so we'll be having another video coming out probably tonight as well, on the pre-fight analysis for the Lewis Olenek card. So look out for that too. Thank you guys for tuning in again as well. We love you guys. Keep coming in. Keep checking out the social medias. We'll keep updating y'all with stuff. And again, big news hopefully coming in the next week or so. For the DC card, I probably won't be in my office recording. I'll probably be somewhere else recording. So be ready for that. Don't get freaked out if you don't see my bed in the background or anything like that.
Nobody care about your bed.
But yeah, so we might end up trying to do something in person too if we can. We're gonna see.
Might have a special guest. I don't know.
Yeah, we might have a special guest.
Yeah.
And we're gonna break down that card. We're going to do the whole card because it is a pay-per-view. So, yeah. Thanks again, guys. Keep your eyes out for news. And, yeah, love y'all.
Thank you, guys.
Peace.